Sharks are magnificent creatures whose existence is very important for the sustainability of our planet. However, the deadly animals sometimes make it difficult for us to realize that they're nothing more than just a mammal above us in the food chain, and not some killing machines. I blame Jaws for the character assassination of sharks, but I'm here today to add on to this fear of yours. Today I have 5 of the most deadliest and terrorizing shark attacks ever recorded in human history. Watch the video to the very end to experience the most gore death one could imagine. Number 5. Terry Emanuel in Peak Bay. The gorgeous continent cum country of Australia has more apprehension than one could imagine. The stunning coast at Weismans Beach near Port Lincoln and Peak Bay, South Australia, is where the deadly incident occurred. The manipulative beauty sometimes makes one forget of the many dangers the deep blue possesses. The Weismans Beach, a more secluded spot, has an ecosystem with a variety of aquatic creatures, starting from the innocent sea lions and fur seals to the predators, the great white sharks. But what makes this story thrilling is that the area, in particular, wasn't one which was a regular great white shark habitat. Famous for its once-in-a-lifetime experience, it offers adrenaline rush junkies an opportunity to experience cage diving with great white sharks. These waters have been verified to host one of the largest populations of these magnificent and ancient apex predators in the world today. Despite the danger this animal possesses, especially in close quarters, the fact is that sharks are still a very occasional guest at Peak Bay. This could sound contradictory to what the locals in the area might let you know, but a quick Google search will prove my point. However, for 26-year-old Terry Emanuel, the stars were definitely not on his charts. The poor fella, whose only intention was to possibly strike off a new thing off his bucket list, had no idea of what was in store for him in the deceiving beauty. As he proceeded to go for a dive all by himself, the marvelous giant, a great white, viciously attacked him during his ascent from an abalone dive. Terry was swallowed fully and dead in a matter of seconds. Number 4. The dolphin lover surfer. This is probably the only story where we have the attacker being alive. However, this doesn't make the tale any less gruesome or scary. Australian surfer Leo Taylor was a 19-year-old surfer. The animal lover was fascinated by dolphins and was at the Gold Coast beach in Australia to do his most loved hobby of surfing. The teenager was enjoying the waves of his surfboard as he saw a few dolphins swimming by the waves. The excited kid couldn't take his eyes off the adorable mammal and decided to swim farther away from the shore and to see them up close. As he reached closer to the dolphins, Leo felt something wrong within the water below him. He felt something unusual and bumpy coming for him from below. The poor kid had his entire life flashing in front of his eyes as he got an idea that there could be a shark below him. An anxious and trembling Leo tried to paddle back to the shore, but his efforts remained futile. As he was paddling, a monstrous tiger shark attacked him from underneath. However, Leo dodged the bullet as the shark tore his surfboard apart in 2 pieces. But the kid wasn't safe for long as the shark was preparing for his next attack. He tried to swim back up to the shore to safety, but the shark managed to catch him by his left arm. Leo, who was in unimaginable pain, screamed as the shark, who was now trying to tear his arm off his body. But the fighter wasn't ready to give up so soon. With his bare hands, mighty Leo repeatedly punched the shark's nose with his right hand and all the strength he had in him. Remembering the oldest trick in the book, he started hitting on the eye of the shark, but it didn't turn out as fruitful as he expected. The shark's teeth were jammed deep into Leo's hand, who at this point seemed like he had lost the fight with the predator. However, as a last move, Leo poked the shark's gills. Lucky for him, this immediately resulted in a reflex from the shark. The attacker quickly released his hand and swam away from Leo. With one hand wounded, Leo swam back to the shore as fast as he could. His friends and family were petrified at the sight of poor Leo swimming with a severely damaged arm from a shark bite. Thankfully, he was given quick medical attention, and his life and arm were saved. Number 3. The 1945 USS Shark Attack. It could be hard to comprehend, but sharks are so powerful. They have even defeated the strongest army in the world. The sinking of the USS Indianapolis is undoubtedly the single most greatest loss of life at sea of the United States Navy. However, an unexpected villain who was the main reason behind the tragedy, and moreover the deaths, remain concealed to laymen till date. Indianapolis's history goes back to the Hiroshima attack in Japan. It carried one of the first atomic bombs used in combat that were later dropped on Japan. However, karma is real as the return for such barbarity, which resulted in the ship being hit by Japanese torpedoes. Over 900 men who were in the ship were completely sunk in under 12 minutes. But in reality, only 300 or so actually went down with the ship. By the time they arrived, sharks had eaten most of the crew, and only 317 people survived the disaster. Some of the survivors told eerie tales of watching the blood of red and hearing blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night as sharks ate their fellow sailors. Number 2. The Cage Diving Friends. Shark attacks and cage divers. Name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. I'm not sure if cage diving is always a fun experience, but it is certainly bizarre. What you're about to hear next will make anyone think twice before putting yourself in that cage. This is the story of 3 friends, Noah, Abby, and Lily, who were enjoying their summer holidays trip to an island. After a fun-filled 3 days, Noah implied that they should all try something different and suggested going cage diving with sharks. The adventurous best friends instantly agreed for the same, and the 3 went to inquire about cage diving the very next day. They found a resort, whose diving staff assisted and led them to a boat with a scuba diving expert named Danny, along with another professional named Troy, to help them with their cage diving. The 3 friends, along with their 2 trainers, boarded the boat and sailed to a designated section of the sea where they had planned to swim along with the sharks. They went fully prepared as Troy gave the friends oxygen tanks and helped them gear up for their cage diving experience. Everyone seemed nervous, yet thrilled, as they secured their scuba gear first and gave them their basic instructions. Noah, who was the reason behind the whole finale, was thrilled to do the activity, while the other 2 started having their doubts. However, they were calmed down and assured that the cage was too strong for the shark to break into. All set and ready, the 3 young adults entered the cage and were gradually lowered. Mesmerized by the beauty of the fish coral reefs and ocean depths as soon as they got into the water, Noah recorded the entire incident on his GoPro camera. Everything went great until the 3 got bored of the sharks. What even is that supposed to mean? But the boredom didn't last long, as a furious bull shark suddenly charged into their cage at lightning speed, causing the cage to rigorously shake. Noah dropped his GoPro outside the cage due to the shaking. The extra adventurous fella tried to pull back his camera while a shark was right outside him. Things had to go down after this. But the bull shark attacked furiously once again, this time with an attempt to bite the boy's hand. But Noah somehow managed to pull it back safely. He did have some well-deserved generous cut though. However, the release of so much blood into the ocean was a huge sign for the great if she's to know the presence of their next meal. The shark, angrier than ever, kept attacking the cage. Thankfully, Danny and Troy saved the day and pulled them out the ocean and got them safely from the sea. Number 1. Shirley Ann Burden. A house at the beach is something anyone would dream to have, and Shirley Ann Burden did have that dream house. She, her husband Barry, and their 4 children had moved to the Peak Bay coast from a rural Australian town known as Carcu. Unfortunately, this was because of Barry's allergies to farm life. Well, no one would ever complain about a beach house, or would they? On March 3rd of 1985, on what would seem like a normal afternoon, the family had decided to hit the beach. A good friend of theirs, Keith Coventry, had joined them in this joyous afternoon. The kids, being kids, played around the sand while the grown-ups chose to go diving for scallops. The trio were ready and geared up with their snorkels. Shirley and Barry assured their kids that they won't be going too far and will be back soon. Their kids were too busy with their games and responded with inattentive nods. Little did they know what was to come. Barry and Keith headed to the shore and waited for Shirley to finish scanning the bottom of the sea. Shirley had lost herself into the beauty of the sea and the experience she was having. She soon realized that she had collected more than what she intended. Out of nowhere, a 22-foot and highly famished great white shark emerges out of the depths of the deep blue sea in search of its dinner. Shark attacks are of two kinds: a provoked shark, yep, there are humans who are brave enough to provoke sharks, and the second kind, out of curiosity, or at times to feed its hunger. The great white scans the water for movement as it continues to swim in Shirley's direction. Shirley's torso has now appeared on the shark's radar, and the shark has locked its sights on her. Shirley continues to swim towards the shore, unaware of the impending danger. As nerve-wracking as a horror movie, the shark slowly takes aim and launches Shirley several feet into the air, with her torso waist-deep in its jaw. The beast lands on water with a big splash. The shark tightens its jaw, and crushing Shirley's torso with its large jaws and bite power. The shark shook its head from side to side, a technique that rips limbs, thick blubber, and flesh off their prey. The water is now painted red by her blood. The men and kids are numb as they could only watch helplessly as the beast continued its rampage on poor Shirley. Barry snaps out from this and makes a last-ditch effort to save his other half. He was instantly held back by Keith and the kids. She's gone, cried Barry. Shirley's torso was floating in the water face down. The shark had bitten her clean in half from the waist down. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of things. The great white returns and bites Shirley's head clean off her body and swiftly turns toward the horizon and swims off into the ocean depths. Something anyone would have wished to unsee. There were reports indicating that rescuers had attempted to recover whatever was remaining of Shirley, but were never able to find her body. Days of intense search efforts went futile as there was no sign of her torso or of the incident. The great white might have returned to Shirley's body for a third and final time to finish what remained of her, once and for all, leaving Barry and the children with nothing but memories, both bright and dark, of the woman they all loved. I hope she rests in peace. I'm sorry in advance for the nightmares this video is going to give you, but the intention isn't scaring you, but rather warning you. Which among these attacks were the scariest for you? Let us know in the comments down below.